got 9 juicy am I the a-hole Reddit stories for today's video. Starting it off with am I the a-hole for asking my husband not to walk around all nude because it makes my daughter uncomfortable. An absolutely ridiculous title that also does have an update to it. But stick around for 8 more absolutely ridiculous Reddit stories, such as am I the a-hole for freaking out at my friends after they implied my husband was a predator? And the last story that we're going to end off with that also has 2 updates to it. Am I the a-hole for thinking of leaving my boyfriend because his behavior has gotten worse after the birth of our daughter? Chat, we got juicy Reddit stories for this one. Let's lock in here. Am I the a-hole for asking my husband not to walk around all nude because it makes my daughter uncomfortable? So I have a 14-year-old daughter and my husband has 2 sons who are 10. My daughter's dad passed away when she was just 2 and my stepson's mom died when they were around 5. Wait, so this isn't even the husband's daughter? I mean, it was already weird, but now it's even weirder. Is that weirder? I think it's more illegal. Holy shit. My husband was pretty used to walking around the house naked after showering since it was just boys around. But now there's me and my daughter, who again is a teenager. My daughter leaves her door open because of something that happened when she was younger. We had to evacuate and her door got stuck, so she's a bit traumatized by it. Also, my husband has this habit of walking out of the bathroom naked after taking a shower, just strolling to the bedroom all chill while scrolling on his phone. My daughter came to me the other day complaining that she doesn't want to see him like that. All right, confession time. Me and my college roommates, we would walk around naked, but like after we showered or something like that, because let's be honest, we had seen each other naked a bunch of times. And it was also just like kind of silly, goofy, haha, funny. But like that is just like stupid idiot college boys being stupid idiot college boys. It's a little weird when it's family. I don't know about that. I told my husband about it and he was like, okay. But then he got annoyed with my daughter for bringing it up instead of just letting it go. I explained that she thinks seeing her stepfather naked is really disrespectful to both of them and she values his privacy. He suggested she just start closing her door, even though he knows about her trauma. And then he said to get her into therapy. She's already in therapy and is actually getting better at shutting the door when she changes. He got all mad saying I was choosing her over him. I mean, shit, bro, as she should. I think you should choose your daughter you had before you married somebody over the person you married any day, bro. We've been going back and forth for like 3 days about the same thing, which is why I'm here. My daughter said she could just handle it because she hates hearing us argue. That is just genuinely weird no matter who you are. Like not only family, but your stepdaughter. It just drifts into very uncomfortable and illegal territory. Like I said, me and my roommates did it because it was a little silly, goofy, haha, you saw my dick type shit. But that was just stupid college boys being stupid college boys. It's very different when it's not only your family, but your stepdaughter. It's giving low-key a guy who gets some sick pleasure out of people seeing him naked. Maybe it's not that, but it's just easier to wrap a towel around yourself. Why do you want to be exposed like that? Might be a hot take, but at least in Western culture, once your kids no longer need to bathe with you, y'all shouldn't see each other naked unless it's an emergency or a medical thing. I fucking agree with that. After the age of like 10, I didn't want anybody to see me naked. And I didn't want to see my parents or any of my siblings naked. That was just big old no-no. I don't know if other cultures are different, but yeah, I'm not trying to see that shit. Lol smile, what pleasure does he get making a young girl feel uncomfortable in her own home? That's how I feel. And also blame her for it? Any normal person would think this is weird as shit. Oh shit, Nightshade, I'm a mandatory reporter. If a child told me her stepdad wanders the house naked, I'd be legally obligated to make a report. That's everything we need to know right there. Like, if you need to legally report that, if you're told something like that as a mandatory reporter, like, yeah, you should not be doing that. I'm all for adults around adults being nude in a consensual and like not stigmatized way, but in front of children, I think it does need to be stigmatized. Honestly, even if he was her dad, I would still think it's weird. Not as like kind of weird and predatory as it is as a stepdad, but it would still be massively weird. This is clearly not the a-hole, by the way. I don't think if I clarified that. And I would still say the husband is the a-hole, even if he was the father of this child. It's like, that's just weird activity. Like, is he doing that when they bring friends over? That's my question. I grew up in a low privacy home, so I guess I'm desensitized, but even then it's still a little uncomfortable. If you're going to be like, hey, it's more normal to see your family members naked, you should try to minimize it. If you're in a low privacy home and you're going to see that every once in a while, that's fine, but like set up things to try to minimize it. Update on this story. So for some context, since a lot of you seem to have misunderstood things here, we were dating for 4 4 years before we got married. We've been married for just 2 months. We talked about his habit before we got hitched, and he told me he didn't do it anymore. When my daughter went to my parents' place for summer break, I stayed with him and kept an eye on him. After he moved in, that's when I started noticing he was back to his old ways, just scrolling on his phone. I brought it up and said, if you don't want to wear clothes, at least throw on a robe. He agreed. This was just 4 days before my daughter got back. Honestly, I never really pay attention to him when he's in the shower, but a couple of days before my daughter came home, I was putting away her clothes when I saw him walk out of the shower totally bare. I told him he needed to cover up. I'm not the mean type, just trying to make things work. The next day, while my daughter was at a party, he took a shower and came out in a robe, which made me think we were making progress. But on the day my daughter came back, he asked her a question right after she arrived. I was just dusting my desk when I caught her name, and she came over to say she didn't like seeing him like that. That's when I had a talk with him, and everything from my post happened after that. I've always put my daughter before anyone except for God. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. Now, here's the update. My husband took a shower this morning, and before he got in, I told him to bring his robe with him. He did. Then I sent my daughter downstairs and waited in her room to see what he would do. He came out of the bathroom and stood in front of her door, just scrolling through his phone. When he walked into her room and saw me, I told him I was really upset that he was doing this habit on purpose. Wait, so he came out and stood in front of her door to be like, yeah, here's my fucking dick to a 14-year-old. Nah, we don't fuck with that. Snip, snip. 2 months of marriage is all you needed with this guy. Let's divorce him. I even threatened to call the cops and told him he and his kids could pack up. He got angry and claimed I wouldn't let him be himself. I said he could be himself in his own space. I immediately knew what had to be done, whether it was nice or not. I asked him how long he's been doing this and what else he's done to her. I wanted to know why he feels so comfortable acting this way and why he won't just wear a robe. This is just not normal. He insisted he hasn't done anything to her and claims she's just getting in the way of him loving me. I could tell he was lying. I told him he can answer those questions when the cops ask him. We're getting a divorce, and honestly, I've decided not to get married again for my daughter's mental health. I can't risk putting her through more trauma. I really love my daughter, but honestly, I don't think I deserve her. I should have seen it sooner, but I didn't. A lot of you were right. He was just a predator trying to get to my daughter through me. How did you not see this? Maybe people are just really good at faking it. Hold on, focus on the positives. The divorce, let's go. Big dubs. You want to raise your kid trying to teach them like there is such thing as like healthy relationships, but you're not doing a great job at it. So like maybe it is a good thing that you're not gonna date. You know what? I really do hope she calls the cops. I really hope she does. That man needs to be put on a watch list. Like, I'm not only scared for any women around him, I'm also scared for his sons. Like, was he doing this shit to his sons too? Am I the a-hole for freaking out at my friends after they implied my husband was a predator? I, 27 female, and my husband, 29 male, have been together 10 years and married for 6. He's the love of my life. When we got together, he moved in with me and my family because I lived with my parents at the time in a very expensive city. I have 3 younger siblings, 16 female, 14 male, and 12 female. For all their 14th birthdays, I've always said I would take them on a trip. We took my sister on a trip for her 14th birthday, and now at the end of this month, we are taking my little brother. My husband and my brother get along better than anyone. Neither of them have a brother. My husband has a sister, and my brother is the only boy out of 6 of us, so they gravitate towards each other, and it's incredibly sweet to see. It's like they were meant to be brothers. Last night, I was hanging out with a few of my friends, and I was talking about how we were planning on taking my brother on a trip, and I joked about how I would be third wheeling the entire time because they get along so well. A few of my friends laughed, but one of them gave me a weird look. She said that sounded really weird and inappropriate if my husband is giving my younger brother more attention than me. I said, no, it wasn't like that at all. They just get along well, and it was a joke. Said friend then said it was inappropriate that my almost 30 husband is so close with my brother who is a minor, and said she wouldn't be surprised if it was like a grooming situation, and I'm blind to it. I freaked the fuck out, not gonna lie. I yelled at her, how dare she imply anything like that about my husband, who she has met and gets along with, and she's the pervert if she thinks my husband, who is the only boy, bonding with my younger brother, who is the only boy, is inappropriate. I left then and went home, and since then the group chat has been blowing up with people taking sides, either agreeing that it is kind of weird and others saying she was way out of line and needs to get over herself. I haven't told my husband because I don't want him to feel weird, but I'm starting to feel bad about how I handled it and thinking I overreacted and should have just left. Third wheeling might have not been the best words to use there. Third wheeling has been used for more than just dating, but I do also think that third wheeling sometimes implies the aspect of dating. I I see how they made the connection there, but I also don't think there's anything other than OP's poor choice of words that indicates that the husband is grooming OP's brother. I think the accusations are out of place unless there is firm evidence that the husband is doing something inappropriate or making the brother feel inappropriate. However, I kind of see the progression if you're using the term third wheeling. I think you just kind of like raise your eyebrow at it, but move on. I think they went too far implying the grooming thing. Would they feel the same way if she was close to her sister-in-law? Yeah, I guess genders too might play a factor in there. I mean, I don't have any statistics on this, but my brain is telling me that more guys groom than girls groom, but maybe I'm wrong. I disagree about the third wheeling thing unless there were already signs. Let's look up the term third wheeling, because maybe I just have a flawed understanding of the term, because I've only heard it as like, okay, if you're third wheeling a couple. When you're hanging out with two other people, usually friends, siblings, or relatives, they always talk to each other and have fun, but you are just tagging along and overhearing what they say. You know what? Fuck, maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe it doesn't even imply any type of dating. I'm willing to be like, I have the term completely wrong. I'm completely okay saying that. After reading that, I think we have to go with, it's weirder for them to make that jump with no evidence. Honestly, uncalled for. Like, the only thing that you need to accuse someone who, for all intents and purposes, at least from our understanding of the story, is a nice guy. The only thing that you needed to accuse him of being a groomer is just the fact that he took this kid under his wing and considers him a brother, as a brother-in-law should. I think this is not the a-hole. I think all the friends are a-holes. Little edit from OP that they put at the top, which should be illegal. This got more traction than I'd ever anticipated, so I'm gonna make some points. 1, I know my husband better than I know anyone else. He is an all-around good person. I refuse to keep an open mind about my husband being a predator, the father of my children. He has never given me any reason to even think about raising an eyebrow at any interaction he has ever had with any minor. 2, some people are just evil shit starters who thrive off drama no matter the avenue. 3, shut the fuck up about grooming statistics. I know, I get it, I've been there. 4, shut up. Even if the statistics aren't in his favor by any means, like, accusing someone of grooming isn't a light thing to accuse someone of. If you're gonna make accusations based off of that little information, that's a you problem. Update, I did tell him because I wanted him to, 1, know why I was so pissed off all day, and 2, hear it from me in case it becomes a bigger thing. He was obviously hurt. I told him he did nothing wrong and that it was her who was nasty. I ended up sending a text in the group chat and blocking everyone who made a case in defense of her. I refuse to allow some stupid C-word ruin a beautiful friendship between soul brothers. Accusing someone's husband of being a groomer shouldn't just be done willy-nilly, especially one of your good friends. That needs to have some evidence to back it up. Like, I'm trying to think, if someone accused me of grooming someone and there was no evidence other than, hey, you're taking this minor under your wing and like spending a lot of time with them because like they didn't have a brother figure, they didn't have a father figure, whatever that looks like I too would maybe be like, I don't actually want to hang out with you anymore. If any of my close friends did that, I'd be like, I don't fuck with you. That's weird. Also, what else are they gonna accuse you of and talk about behind your back? The sweet handsome man is here. Oh, you want head scratchies? Okay. Oh, maybe you don't want head scratchies. Oh, he's shy. He's hiding behind the chair, chat. Guys, I got him this new toy, and he actually seems to kind of enjoy it. Oh, yeah. Oh. There it is. Is it treat time, Mr. Beans? Does Beanie want some treats? Beanie Baby. These are from Top Gifters, which I believe are Althea and Choir Collective. These two are from all the donations and community subs. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, guys. Zen Queen Fiend, thank you for the 5 gifted. And Axel, thank you for the 1 community sub. I guess we gotta give him 2 more now. Say thank you, Zen Queen Fiend and Axel. Do I give him 2 more treats, all just from chat? These aren't gonna be on my carpet when I wake up in the morning, right? That was Beans giving me his word. Cleaning throw up, 5 minutes. 2 treats for Beans, priceless. You're right. Am I the a-hole for pretending to think beans in chili are woke? To prank my cousin who is obsessed with being anti-woke and who loves chili. My cousin is known for making chili and he's good at it. He makes his own chili flakes from his secret combination of various dried chilies. It has a very nice kick. It's like the perfect amount of spice. It's hot, but not too hot. He also adds kidney beans, not canned beans either. Anyways, for the past 2 or 3 years, my cousin has become obsessed with all this bullshit about what is or isn't woke and how woke things are the end of the world. He's always been a good dude, so I don't know what his bag is, but he is completely obsessed. It's annoying. So the other weekend, I was at his place and he was making his famous chili. So I got the idea for a little prank. I was like, I'm surprised you still put beans in your chili. He was like, what? Why? I was like, beans and chili are so woke. Everyone is saying so. He was like, what do you mean? And he was like genuinely concerned, as if it was something serious. I said something like, yeah, beans and chili are woke. The original conservative Texans who made chili only used meat and chili. San Francisco liberals started adding beans to chili in the 60s because so many hippies were vegetarian. Now all the woke scientists are saying beans are a better protein source than meat. He didn't say anything to that. I kind of just assumed he'd know I was fucking with him and get the joke. We have always fucked around with each other and made jokes, but he was quiet all dinner. Just yesterday, I was back again at his place and he was making his chili again. There were no beans. It was a totally different chili. This guy's been making his chili with beans for like 15 years. I was like, what's up? Where's the beans? He was like, I don't fuck with that woke shit. I was like, what? He was like, beans and chili are woke. Even you know that. Everyone else was like, what? Because what? I was like, dude, I was just fucking with you. He got really angry. He dumped his chili in the sink and told everyone to go home. I thought he was pranking me back or something, but he was serious. The dude totally lost it. He texted me later and said this exact thing. I researched this online and it turns out you really were lying to me. Beans are not woke. How could you do this? We went back and forth for a bit. His position is even though we have historically pranked each other, I went too far and that I betrayed him, that I made him question his chili. Bro, you made me question my chili. How could you fucking do that? Listen, bro, you can murder small children. You can fucking throw a child off of a cliff, but like, I draw the line at fucking with my chili. Like, what? No way this is a real person. I tried to ask him if this at all made him think he cared too much about woke. Like, what if beans and chili was woke? So what? He ignored that and demanded I apologize. I wish I was so stupid to believe that my biggest problem in life was beans in chili and having to deal with woke shit. Listen, don't get me wrong. I've always said this. Sometimes like the super woke people are a lot. Like I'm very left leaning. I don't lean that far left. What I will say is a lot of the times they're like that because they actually give a shit about the real world problems. They give an actual shit about mass shootings, things that actually do matter, not whether or not beans belong in your stupid chili because they're woke or not. I genuinely believe people like this just live a much happier life because they are inherently dumb. They are so happy in life because their biggest problems are if beans and chili is woke or not. Is this the plight of being a smarter human being and an empathetic human being? Is that our biggest problem in life isn't if beans are woke or not? He can also be super insecure and constantly wants to prove himself and his friend really triggered him. I don't know. But like, why? I also want to be that stupid and ignorant. Like, listen, bro, if someone came up to me and they're like, bro, I'm surprised you still eat beans because beans are approved by Trump and they're actually known as the Republican food of choice, I would be like, cool, weird as fuck. I don't care. If I genuinely enjoy beans, I'm just gonna eat them. The only thing I've ever like really boycotted, and this wasn't even that hard for me because I don't even shop at them anyways, but like I stopped going to Starbucks and McDonald's during all the Gaza stuff because I knew that they funded it. Oh. Scare him away. Hey, that light was more expensive than you were. What's the goal here, Mr. Man? What's the goal here, sweet handsome boy? You just rubbing your face on everything that I own? Oh, okay. It's lay on your mouse time. You're done streaming, Dad. You're done working. Hi, buddy. How's my handsome boy? Is it spend time with dad time? He likes to be the center of attention, huh? We had such a good day. You had so many new boxes and you got some new toys. Dad hasn't tried brushing your teeth yet, so you don't hate him yet. The nose boop, boop. You're so handsome. Are you leaving us? Oh, okay, bye. Am I the a-hole for not letting my friends use my backyard for their wedding because they do not want me to bring a +1? Here's the situation. Last summer, I bought my grandparents' house. This house was the hangout spot for my friends and I throughout our childhood. This includes my friend Dave. The house has a sizable amount of land, which includes a lake and a gazebo. I was supposed to buy the house with my now ex-girlfriend, Leslie, But going through the process of getting approved to buy, I found out that she has massive amounts of credit card and personal debt that she hid from me throughout our 4 years together. I decided to break up as a result. That was about 6 months ago. I met Leslie because Dave's long-term girlfriend, Kim, is Leslie's cousin. Dave and Kim are engaged and set to get married in April. When I was buying the house, they asked if they could have the ceremony at the gazebo, which I agreed to do. In December, I started dating again. Leslie has not taken this well at all. She thinks we are going to get back together and has tried multiple times to make that happen. I have told her in no uncertain terms that isn't happening. Dave and Kim have asked me to not bring a +1 to the wedding for Leslie's sake. I have told them that this request is ridiculous. This wedding is happening at my house using my land, and I am not allowed to bring a date because of a crazy ex? If that is the case, then they need to find a new venue for the wedding. They are pissed about this given the short time frame of when the wedding is supposed to happen. So we are at an impasse. Am I the a-hole? I don't know. I guess the question is, do you guys agree with this? I actually think it's completely valid for OP to break up with the girlfriend because of debt reasons, especially hiding it from him for 4 years together. Like, not only do I think financials in relationships should be a bigger conversation and like should be an important thing. Like, honestly, chat, I wouldn't want to build a future with somebody who has massive amounts of credit card debt that she hid from me. If she told me about it and was like, I want to work on this with you, yeah, totally. But if she hid it from me and didn't actively like work on improving it, I think I would break up with them too. And I'm guessing maybe chat doesn't agree with that, but like, I don't know if inherit's the right word, but you don't want to inherit that debt. Like, especially someone for me where like I'm debt free and I'm very smart with my money, it would actually piss me off if like this happened to me. Do you guys agree with that? I'm gonna check chat to see if y'all at least fuck with that. Okay. All right. Awesome. Love that. I'm going to deep throat a Glock. Let's continue. The only other thing that OP did that I didn't agree with, calling his ex crazy. I don't think it's a huge thing, but I don't think your ex is crazy. She just has feelings. I understand Dave and Kim's request. That makes sense since Leslie is Kim's cousin, but I do think it's a little overboard asking that of him when it's his land. At his house, on his property, maybe I missed it or maybe I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that he's not charging them for this wedding. Bro, the least you can do is give that man a +1. That's where I'm at. The +1 is just like bare minimum. Oh, dude, I can't believe I fucking forgot to switch my mic. Your mic was the friends we made along the way. We were yelling at you the entire story. I just changed it. I know, but I can't see it. It's over here. Your guys' chats are all the way over here on my screen. Maybe what if Ben was the asshole for not changing his mic? I will end the stream right fucking now, chat. In case it wasn't clear, final verdict, at least on my end, I'm going with not the a-hole. I think chat was going with not the a-hole too. Edit. I've seen a few things brought up a number of times in the comments, so I will quickly address them here. 1, I am fully aware of the liability issues, which is why I purchased and they reimbursed me for a special event insurance policy, which will provide 100% coverage for any damages, claims, injuries, etc. to any of the property or persons up to $2 million. It is one of the first things we did after I agreed to have the event in my home. Okay. Didn't know this was a thing. I'm gonna store that in the back of my brain. 2, the wedding will have a maximum, if everyone comes, of 75 guests, 5 catering staff, and 5 security staff. The security is because this is an open area that anyone walking past can access. The house has hosted events twice this size, and logistically, it has been fine. On the property, there are 2 cottages, one with 1 bathroom and the other with 2 bathrooms. The only portion of my house that will not be locked during the wedding is the finished basement. The basement has 2 bathrooms. Okay, I love that like nobody cares about the story. They're just like, okay, but what are the logistics? Like, 3, every person who is single, i.e. not in an established relationship, received an invitation with a +1, including me and Leslie. This talk came after I sent in my return card and indicated I was bringing a +1. Now they are saying they do not want me to have a +1 because Leslie blew up about it and they are afraid of a blow up at the wedding. 4, Leslie indicated she intends to bring someone on her card. I do not know if she will actually bring someone. Wait, so Leslie gets a +1, but OP doesn't? Like, listen, I get it, she's your cousin, but this is the man that is pretty much saving you a fuck ton of money on a real venue. Like, what? At least I'm assuming all you had to pay for was this insurance, which I don't even know. Like, how much would this be? Special event insurance can cost between $150 and $257 per event on average. Oh no, you had to spend $150 to $250 on a wedding venue. Like, yeah, just dumb. I am so not the a-hole here, especially to like, listen, if you're gonna give it to one side, you also have to give it to the other. That's ridiculous. Oh shit, top comment. Pull an Uno reverse, tell them Leslie isn't allowed on your property and watch their heads explode. That's insane. Just the audacity, dude. Like, don't get me wrong. I think there are things that you could cross the line on in terms of like how much your hand is in the cookie jar of this wedding, but this isn't one of them. It should be a given that if you're going to this wedding and you're providing the venue, you also get a +1. I think that's very basic. Am I the a-hole for refusing to try on a hijab? Advice needed. I, 26 female, am aware that this is an incredibly controversial topic, but I am at my wit's end in this situation, and my family and friends are overseas and mostly incapable of helping me due to inexperience and lack of awareness. I am in the UK for my PhD, and my roommate, 28 female, is Muslim. We usually get along very well, and I've been respectful and accommodating of her religious practices. I'm very aware of the rising Islamophobia worldwide and try to advocate against it whenever I can. I feel the need to mention these things because they became relevant. I am an atheist myself. My roommate on numerous occasions has tried to discuss religion and theology with me, but I have quickly shut her down, fearing that this may lead to a conflict due to our differences. After her several attempts of comparing our respective religious backgrounds, I firmly told her that religion is that one topic I don't want to remotely touch in a conversation with her because I did not want an argumentative and tense relationship with someone I share a roof with, and she understood and stopped. Everything was fine for months until she started following those drives on TikTok where people get a hijab makeover on the streets and look pretty, and thought of doing such a drive of her own. I gave her thumbs up and moved on until she said she wanted to practice on me. I told her that I am not comfortable with this. She told me it is just a piece of cloth and it won't hurt to try because I may end up liking it. I firmly told her that while that is absolutely all right, I don't want to try it on because I am simply not interested. This went back and forth for some time until she told me that she is glad my Islamophobia is finally out in the open and I have exposed myself. I was shocked and I asked her what made her think that I am an Islamophobe based off this one incident when I have gone above and beyond for her comfort. I abide by all her dietary restrictions in our shared kitchen, despite not having any such restriction of my own. Once I bought this beautiful statue of a Hindu goddess, not for worshiping purposes, but purely for aesthetic reasons, and she told me that she was uncomfortable with the violent figure. I immediately complied and packed it away without any argument. So she's free to express religion in any way that she wants, but OP isn't. Yeah, I don't really fuck with that. I profusely apologized to her and I told her that I have nothing against hijabs just because I don't want it on me. She stopped talking to me altogether after that. A couple of other people on campus have reported that she is telling everyone how uncomfortable she is sharing a place with someone so hateful towards her religion. While I am hurt that I have lost a friend overnight, I am also extremely scared that the word may reach the university administration and they might take disciplinary action against me. I may lose my scholarship or may be thrown out of college altogether. I'm an international student and this would mean my career will be completely over. I don't know what to do or how to explain my end of the story because no one seems interested. I have continuously and unconditionally apologized to her since the event, but nothing seems to work. Could anyone tell me where did I exactly go wrong and how can I fix this situation? Edit 1, I believe I need to clarify that I am from India and I belong from an untouchable Dalit caste. The Dalit caste is a social group in India and other South Asian countries that is considered to be the lowest caste and is often referred to as untouchable. So it's a low social hierarchy? Does that mean that they're poor? Like, I just don't know. They are seen as less than human, not even acknowledged by higher castes. Whoa, what the fuck? I clearly don't know enough about India. I don't have any interest of pandering to racial and religious hegemonies because it will end up working against my interests and of the numerous brilliant Dalit students who have academic aspirations. Edit 2, she wanted me to be a model for hijab trials because she wants to make social media content like hijab transformation videos. I see that a lot of people here don't know about them. Basically, hijabi influencers have this drive/campaigns of sorts where they ask random women in the streets if they would like a hijab makeover and put hijab and modest clothes on them. There's nothing coercive in this. You can check Bara Bolat for such content and you will get the idea. I personally don't want to participate in this because of the no religious stuff between us boundary that I had established with my roommate, and I was concerned that this may once again lead to religious debates like she used to attempt in the past. I don't know enough about Islam or anything like that to know like if this is like a true commitment or not. To me, like I would have just put the piece of cloth on my head. But if OP had established this boundary and she was firm on it, and I do agree she's not being an Islamophobe. She's just, hey, I set this boundary, let's stick to it, bestie. The respect is only one-sided on OP's part where she respects and caters a lot to her roommate's religion, but the roommate doesn't do anything to respect OP being an atheist and her boundaries around religion. I want to go with not the a-hole. Could you maybe just suck it up and throw it on just to appease her? Yeah, but like I also don't think that's the right move here. Just as much as you're allowed to be like, hey, I'm religious and these are the things that like I believe in, like, sure, man, you're allowed to do that and establish the boundaries that come with religion. But similarly, if someone's like, fuck religion, keep that away from me, you also should respect that. Why would you even want someone who doesn't believe in your religion to wear something sacred and important to you? That's a good point, Oregano. The most important points for this story is OP's being slandered and they set a hard boundary that I don't think is ridiculous, and the roommate isn't respecting that boundary, and that's all we really need to know. I hope she doesn't get in trouble though. I mean, that would be ridiculous to me if she just explained the situation. Like, if they were thinking about it, they wouldn't bring her in and just be like, hey, we heard this, like, what's your side of the story? Like, that would be ridiculous. I don't like how it's being put on OP as it's just a piece of cloth. Okay, let's just make it a shirt. Also, too, someone made a good point of like, okay, well, if it's just a piece of cloth, take it off, because then they would be like, it's not just a piece of cloth. It is a statement from your religion that by putting it on your head, even if you don't align with it, you're at least somewhat associating yourself with it, and that should be fully your choice. I didn't really give advice too much about how to like negate this. I think the answer is go to your most close friends, tell them what happened, and then maybe set a meeting with the uni administration if you're that worried about it. Go up to them and be like, hey, this is what's going on. I just want you guys to hear my side of the story. If this person's spreading it, like, my first question is, what did they do? And if they tell me like, oh, they wouldn't wear my hijab because they told me that they didn't want to, I'd be like, okay, but they don't want to. Like, that's not Islamophobia. That's them not wanting to put that on their head because they're not that religion. Am I the a-hole for gifting daughter presents meant for husband's side piece? Back in 2018, we went on a Christmas trip to see my now ex-husband's sister, Jill. He was acting strange and would not talk to me. His sister, whom I only met one time before, ignored me. We had presents sent to her house, so we did not have to pack them. I was wrapping presents and Joe and Jill went outside for a period of time. He would not tell me what they were talking about. When we went to pack up, Joe was very concerned about his backpack. Only he could touch it. I thought, this is odd, but whatever. A month prior to leaving, I found a prepaid card in his wallet. I took it to see what he would say. He asked about it and said it was for work. I found it and gave it back to him. About a week later, I asked if he was having an affair. He said no, and I dropped it. We have not been in love for quite a while, and I knew we were heading towards divorce. Upon return from a trip, something told me to look in his backpack. So while he was showering, I looked and found 2 bracelets and a gift bag. I took the 2 bracelets and hid them. Hold on, I just gotta stop reading here for a second because, like, OP, what the fuck are we doing? I can already tell people are gonna be like, oh, you're victim blaming, blah, blah, blah. But, like, genuinely, girl, like, why are we playing games here? We have not been in love for a while and we're heading towards divorce. Get the divorce. I found the 2 bracelets, so I hid them. Like, why are we playing these games? I'm sorry, but it's like really immature to me. Don't get me wrong. I'm guessing the husband's cheating. He's an asshole. Absolutely. But like, also, girl, I don't understand why you're just making this worse for yourself. All was well until he went to the car to leave. He came storming in demanding I give the bracelets back. I simply replied, what bracelets? He said he bought them for me for our anniversary next month. He knows I don't wear bracelets and actually hates them. Why would he be freaking out if the bracelets were for me a month later? He stormed out and we didn't talk about it again. I was finally able to get in his phone and discovered text messages confirming the affair. Part of me didn't care because we were not in love, but I still felt betrayed. 2 years later, we are divorcing. I'm cleaning out our rooms, helping him pack. We had a very amicable divorce. Hold on. It took you 2 years to divorce from that moment. I don't know. I get it. It's hard. I'm probably being a little bit of an asshole here, but like 2 years? Really? While cleaning, I found the 2 bracelets I had hid years ago and forgot about. I didn't want them, but our middle child, female 15, loves jewelry. Oh my God, there's a fucking child in this. Oh, that poor fucking kid, man. We were separated, but decided to have Christmas at the house together. So Christmas morning comes and kids are opening gifts. The look on Joe's face as our daughter opens the bracelets was priceless. They were rose gold, her favorite. Her face was beaming with joy. He sat there looking at the jewelry like a deer in headlights. So am I the a-hole for gifting the jewelry to my daughter meant for my husband's side piece? Listen, girl, because you asked, I think everyone sucks here. Just like, why are we playing this game? Why are we putting your child through this torture? Your husband sucks ass. That being said, funny as fuck, you should have put this in nuclear revenge. That has got to be the funniest thing I've ever heard. I think you're a little bit of the a-hole here just with how you went about it, but you're not the a-hole for that, I'll say. I don't know, maybe it actually is a little bit of an asshole move, but I think it's deserved, bro. The husband fucked around and boy, did he find out. Edit, some have strong feelings about gifting bracelets to my daughter and her feelings if she finds out. I have no intention of telling her. Joe will not say anything. He denies the affair completely when talking to other people. He has also since abandoned the kids. He moved out of state without telling them and only contacts them on holidays and birthdays. The only way she would find out is if I would tell her. Actually, chat, bringing up the lore about the bracelet, that is a little fucked up. I can't even lie. Merry Christmas. Here's the bracelets that put the nail in the coffin to daddy and mommy's marriage. Y'all need family therapy. You need individual therapy. You probably shouldn't have had kids, but that's a whole other discussion. Am I the a-hole for not dating a single dad, even if he's a victim? I, 19 female, recently went on a date with a guy, Ben, 25 male. All right, well, I'm 27, so we chilling, but like, chat, is this play about us? I'm also not a dad, so... I, 19 female, recently went on a date with a guy, Ben, 25 male, after meeting through mutual friends. He was nice enough at first, but I found out he has 2 kids. One is 7 male, which means he became a dad at 18 with a 19-year-old, and the other is 2 male. Dad at 18, and they also had another kid. Also with the age gap, like, obviously it's not illegal, but I'm not a fan of this age gap at all. Like, hey man, you can't find somebody like in their 20s today. Like, it's not illegal. Not a huge fan. I've always known I don't want to date someone with kids. There was nothing wrong with him as a person, but I just couldn't see myself in that situation long term. I'm not particularly a fan of kids. If I have my own someday, we'll see, but that's not happening anytime soon. However, I don't think I could handle being a stepmother. After our first date, he messaged me saying he really liked me and wanted to see me again. I politely told him I didn't think it would work out. That's when he started pressuring me for a reason. He said he thought we clicked so well, we had the same interests, and he didn't understand why I was saying no. I tried to keep it vague at first, but he kept pushing, so I finally told him I wasn't comfortable dating someone with kids. That set him off. He started saying things like how he thought younger girls liked experienced men and that I was being judgmental. So you're intentionally going for younger girls because you want them. Ew, that's grody. I don't like that. And that I was being judgmental. Then he said he didn't plan for any of this to happen and asked, don't you think I'm a victim? I was just a dumb kid when I had my first, and the second one was a surprise. I don't even see my kids that often, and we wouldn't have any problems. I was baby trapped. I have it way harder than you. I mean, we know that he had sex because he has kids, but it's giving incel. Getting baby trapped twice, chat. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice? Maybe that's a bad thing for me to say, but like, I don't know, is that not an okay thing for me to say? Because like baby trapping is sexual assault, don't get me wrong, but like twice, man, with baby trapping, the sex was consensual. It was the reproducing that was not consensual, which means you consensually had sex with her, but unconsensually had a baby with her. And then you chose to keep having consensual sex with that person. I don't know, man. Maybe some people will be on the YouTube video fucking calling me a bad person, but like to me, I get baby trapped and I truly am like, I was a victim here. This person took advantage of me. I'm not having sex with them again. But you're right, Andrews. More than anything else, this is not her problem. I agree. I don't know if you can weaponize your trauma, but it sounds like he's trying to weaponize his trauma. He's trying to be like, ooh, let me make you feel bad so that I get what I want. We don't have all the context of this baby trap, but truthfully, like, I do really just feel like he's lying. At that point, I was done. I didn't reply to him anymore. He told the mutual friends who set us up, they said I was being judgmental. Nobody these days cares about how many baby mamas someone has or about being a stepmom. What? That's the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh yeah, nobody cares if they sign up to be with someone who has a kid and then therefore will have to live with that kid for the rest of their life if they choose to make them their life partner. Nobody gives a shit about that. If that's the truth, everybody's stupid. You don't go into a situation being like, oh, you have a kid? Ugh, I don't even care. That isn't gonna change the dynamic of our relationship at all. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I told them I just don't see myself in that position. My friend said they understand, but that I should still apologize to Ben. For what? Him being a little beta bitch? Nah, bro. Fuck that Ben. He's ruining the Ben name for everybody else. I'm going with not the a-hole, and maybe I crossed the line by being like, I don't understand how you let that happen twice, but maybe it's a learning moment. Maybe someone in the comments will be like, this is why, but I just truly don't understand how you get baby trapped twice. I'm very hesitant to believe his claim if it happened twice by the same person. Either way, OP needs to get the fuck away from this man and their friend group. Am I the a-hole for giving crappy Christmas gifts and ruining my marriage? Advice needed. I, 31 female, married my soon-to-be ex-husband, male 33, in 2018. My in-laws never liked me and made it clear. My soon-to-be ex insisted that they're just putting up a tough exterior and they'll grow to love me. To show how evil they are, one time I joined them for dinner and brought a cake I'd made because I was always raised to be a gracious host. When I stepped into the kitchen kitchen and offered the cake to his mother as a thank you for inviting me. She took the plate over to the garbage bin, dumped it in, and handed me the plate back. When I told my husband what she did, he confronted her, and all of a sudden, the crocodile tears started, and she claimed she grabbed the plate but didn't get a good grip. I let go quickly, and it fell to the floor, so of course it had to be thrown away. My sister-in-law confirmed that was what happened. Is that before or is Beans in the background? Oh yeah, he's chilling. The big handsome man is chilling. Like if this happened before they were actually married, like this is low-key a good reason not to marry into the family. My soon-to-be ex owned his own business and they called me a gold digger behind my back. Of course, they insisted on a prenup, which I didn't care about because I never thought my marriage would end, and it would appease them and may allow them to finally treat me kindly. Nope. His business failed once COVID hit. We went through his savings and my own trying to keep it afloat. I refused to go into debt to keep it going, so he closed it down. In 2022, he was suffering from really bad depression because he lost his business and couldn't find new work. He suggested we move to his hometown, closer to his family, so he had a larger support system. Against my best judgment, we did. He wanted to only work part-time while he tried to restart his business, so I became the main breadwinner. And as with most wives, I became the person in charge of buying gifts. Stupid old me thought buying them thoughtful, expensive gifts would finally make them see I wanted to be accepted by them. Gifts to us were a couple's gift, but clearly for my soon-to-be ex only. Every holiday was spent with them, monthly dinners with the whole family. After a year, I realized that if I ever tried to talk or join a conversation, everyone would go quiet. So I just stopped talking when I visited. In early December, they finalized plans for Christmas. A few days later, my soon-to-be ex said his family decided they didn't want me to join them for Christmas Eve dinner and Christmas lunch because I ruined the family vibe. I replied, fine, we'll do our own thing instead. My soon-to-be ex sheepishly looked away and said he was still going to go. Girl, what did you see in this man? I want to know how long they dated before this because there's no way. Everything I'm reading is just a gigantic red flag. There's no way this didn't come out earlier. I was livid and so disappointed in him. That was the moment I knew my marriage was over. So I returned the presents I had bought for his family. In their place, I got one pair of novelty business socks for father-in-law, a supermarket brand bottle of shampoo for my mother-in-law, the nastiest perfume I could find at the dollar store for sister-in-law. The most expensive gift was a large rawhide bone for brother-in-law and his wife's chihuahua, too big for it to get its jaw around, rendering it useless. I saved about $600 to put on a deposit for a new apartment. My husband came home from Christmas lunch telling me I humiliated him and embarrassed him in front of his family. I asked him why he would think I'd buy nice gifts for people who clearly don't like me and don't want me around. Served divorce papers last week. Remember how he was supposed to be a millionaire by now, so we had that prenup? Soon-to-be ex is not eligible for any of my savings. It was required to keep separate accounts or alimony. He doesn't have money for rent and auto insurance. Not my problem anymore. Some of my friends and family are on my side and proud that I went out in a blaze of glory. Others are telling me I was being way too petty, which isn't really like me. Why would you spend your own hard-earned money on people that hate you? I'm all with OP, bro, not the a-hole. Anybody listening to this, if you are in the situation where your in-laws don't like you, make it clear, and your partner is insisting that they'll eventually like you and not standing up for you, not going to bat for you, that's never gonna change. Never date or get married to someone based off potential. Relationships with Sarby, if there's one thing I've learned in life, it's that. Do not marry someone for their potential because odds are they will never live up to that potential. Marry them and marry into their family or date into their family based off of where they are currently. We need a bean cam. There he is, our favorite white boy. Beans cam, beans cam, beans cam. Update, also tagged as advice needed. For those of you who asked how the deposit on my new apartment was only $600 I saved on the gifts, it certainly wasn't. I had to dip into savings, but that $600 helped. My soon-to-be ex didn't bother reaching out to me after I left until he was served the divorce papers and my lawyer made it clear we are exercising the prenup. Then it was loving voicemails and texts I never picked up from him and his family for a few days trying to convince me to come back, which eventually turned to threatening and cruel voicemails and texts when it was clear I wasn't budging. My lawyer suggested I don't block them so we have evidence of harassment if needed. Basically give them the rope to hang themselves with. But then last night, I got call after call from my soon-to-be ex. Stupidly, I picked it up thinking there was some kind of emergency or something. I barely got hello out when he said, the rent is a week late. I told him that's strange because I paid my landlord 6 days ago. He paused and sighed dramatically and replied, no, the rent for here. I reminded him I don't live there and he shouldn't expect rent. Cue his parents both texting me that they're going to sue me to pay the remainder of the lease entirely. I'm not worried about having an eviction on my record since the apartment is in his parents' names. Interesting. When we first announced we were moving to his hometown, they rented an apartment for us right away so we could move right in. They've been renewing the lease each year. We had to pay his parents and then they would write a check to the landlord, who has no idea who soon-to-be ex and I are, let alone that we live there. Red flag, I know. I'm glad I had a few weeks to prep my leaving since they'd probably use the fact that it's their apartment to kick me out immediately. Divorce is probably going to be a bumpy ride with this man-child and his psycho parents. Any advice from anyone who's been through it is welcome. Unfortunately, chat, I think I am not qualified for that advice, but definitely listen to your lawyer. I would not be answering their calls or anything like that. Literally let them hang themselves with the rope. If the apartment's not in your name, like, you're good. Whoever's name is on that apartment lease are the ones that will be punished when they don't pay the rent on it. I think you're good there. Could they maybe sue you and it'll be an annoying legal battle? Yes, but I'm pretty sure you'd win that. Like, I don't think any lawyer would want to take that legal battle. As far as the courts are aware, she's not on the hook for any rent whatsoever for that apartment. Exactly, bro. Let his mommy and daddy pay for it. If you're in a situation where your partner's family doesn't like you and your partner isn't going to bat to try to like repair that relationship and wants you to spend as much time as OP is spending with that family, like, you gotta cut your losses. You can't give into that potential, you know? You're marrying the family too, Tomasan. My mom says the exact same thing, and I've always thought about that. Even if they don't have a relationship with the family, either way, you are marrying whatever relationship they have with their family. Here we go, guys. Last story of the stream, but this one does have two very long updates to them too. Am I the a-hole for thinking of leaving my boyfriend because his behavior has gotten worse after the birth of our daughter? Before we finish up this last story, if you've gotten this far into the video, that probably means that you're enjoying it. And if that's the case, all I ask is that you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future reading Reddit videos. I upload 2 a week. They're usually 40+ minutes and they go up every Monday and Thursday. On top of that, I have over 110 reading Reddit videos on my channel. So if you're looking for your daily dose of drama, head on over to my channel for hours and hours of reading Reddit stories just like this one. We, 22 female and 27 male, have a 2-month-old daughter. She is super colicky. She hates being put down. She cries so much. Her pediatrician says she's just a miserable baby and she will eventually grow out of it. My boyfriend wasn't the most supportive during my pregnancy, but now that our daughter has all of these problems, he's gotten so much worse. He complains that we don't have sex enough. He complains she cries too much. He complains that he works too much, and I'm a mooch for not having found a job yet. He often leaves me to manage everything while he plays video games or hangs out with friends. It's okay for him to go out and get drunk and stay the night at a friend's house, but he will literally time me when I'm taking a shower and blame me for the fact our water bill is too high. He makes me feel like I'm a failure of a mother because our daughter spits up so much we go through 4 to 5 outfit changes a day, and he complains that it's too much laundry. Some bill is late or behind, and he blames me for not contributing to our shared bills, even though he promised to take care of us both. Chat, what is like the average recovery time from a pregnancy? Because it's got to be longer than 2 months. Like, it takes 6 weeks to get to a point where your vagina is healed, right? Like, I think 2-month-old daughter is just way too early to expect OP to go back to work. I mean, we already knew from everything else, but everything about the boyfriend that OP is explaining is super unreasonable. My boyfriend won't let us use any type of government assistance because he thinks that's beneath us, but we are constantly counting pennies and I have to go without food so we can get the special formula my daughter needs so she's not absolutely miserable all the time. We got into a fight yesterday because I placed a Walmart delivery for diapers, wipes, rash cream, and I bought myself some Chef Boyardee cans so I can have something to eat while he's at work. He ended up screaming at me yesterday while our daughter was crying and threw a freshly made bottle at my head, giving me a bruise on my forehead. Yeah, girl, get out of there. Like, everything he was doing before was crossing the line. He has officially completely overstepped the line. I just started crying because I felt so defeated. I called my mom while he was at work today and just broke down. She said he's just struggling to adjust to fatherhood, and this is what I get for having a baby out of wedlock. She said she struggled hard when I was a child, and this is my punishment for not going to college and being a dumb slut. I get it some days because she was a single mom too, but I remember being primarily raised by my grandparents, and she's never even watched my baby. She doesn't want to because her medical issues and has told me so. Oh, this poor OP was just set up for the utmost level of failure. Holy shit. I told my mom I wanted to leave him and she laughed and said I was being dumb and that he's all I've got now and she won't help me anymore. This is after me begging her to lend me some money so I can buy my own groceries, and I promised I'd pay her back once I find a job. Sometimes I feel like I am just not cut out to be a parent. I don't feel like a good parent. My mom makes me feel even worse about it and has told me I need to give my daughter to a better family, and when my boyfriend is angry, he's told me he wished he had just left us so he wouldn't have to deal with us any longer. I think I need to leave my boyfriend, but I'm scared to do that. Am I being dumb about wanting to leave him? Is my mom right? I don't want my daughter to grow up without her father, but he stresses me out so much now. I don't even want to be around him because of his behavior. You do not want your daughter to grow up with a father who throws things at her mother. That is not an environment you raise a kid in at all. Edit, my grandparents are dead. Otherwise, I would leave him and go live with them. I called the domestic violence hotline and they are going to put me in touch with shelters. I have $7 to my name and I put our important documents in the diaper bag. Please stop messaging me telling me I'm a dummy or I should have aborted my baby. I can't turn back time now that she's here. I regret who her father is, but I don't want to give her up. I want to leave him and I'm doing my best to get that in motion. I'm going to leave as soon as I can once a shelter has a place for us both. Edit 2, there is a domestic violence shelter, but they won't have a space for us until next Monday. The shelter is going to put me and my daughter up in a hotel starting on Friday. I'm going to get a protective order against my boyfriend and try to get as many of our things out of this apartment until then. I've taken photos of the bruise he gave me. Going to be doing a lot of packing while he's at work tomorrow and Friday. I'm going to apply for as many social services as I can too, and I hope I get approved for them fast. I'm slowly getting a plan together to fully leave him. I will update everyone again once we are in the hotel or in the shelter on Monday. Thank you to everyone who's offered help, a place for us to stay, offered food and clothing and stuff I may need once I'm in the shelter and back on my feet. I know I will be better off once I leave him, so I just have to keep going until then. Like, she doesn't even have any like friends or anything like that she can stay with. That is just a miserable situation. I mean, don't get me wrong, Chad. I'm also on the wave of like, she shouldn't have had that daughter in the first place, in my opinion, but the damage has been done. At this point, it's just, how do we get this OP out of the situation? I do think she made the right call calling the domestic violence shelter and trying to get a place in there. Setting up a protective order is definitely the right move too. Choir Collective, I work at a resource center / shelter. These are all amazing steps. I'm wondering how long the shelter will be and if they have grants for rapid rehousing. So glad she got out and is reaching out to the right resources. That makes me feel a lot better, Choir Collective. So what you're saying is that this is probably the best move that she could have done in her situation. Not that I would, but I can't even blame OP. If she was raised by this mom, she has been set up for failure since the day that she was born. Since the day that this mother, if we even want to call her that, birthed her and basically allowed her to be raised by her grandparents. Like, that's so sad, man. Y'all, if you guys had good parents, make sure to thank them. I'm gonna text Kathy after this, be like, thank you, Kathy, for not completely fucking me up. So we got 2 updates for this. The first one, I know a lot of you wanted an update when I got one. I'm writing this post while he's at work. I'm so tired and scared. I was up at 3 a.m. and again at 5 a.m. with my daughter and trying to ignore him. I haven't spoken to my mom about leaving him because I'm too worried she might tell him my plan. I'm just going to cut her out entirely because she isn't safe and I'm too scared and worried she's going to take his side and try to make me stay with him when I don't want to. I've never been able to really trust my mom at all, but I know I can't trust her with this. The shelter won't have a space for us until Monday. I've packed away all of our important documents like our birth certificates and social security cards. The shelter can't get us placed in a hotel over the weekend, and I don't want to risk him finding out when he's off work, so I just have to make it through the weekend to get away from him. I'm hoping the shelter will be able to help me get any assistance I can apply for. I've never had to do it before, so I'm kind of clueless on how it works. I'm hoping I can also get a protective order against him, and he can't have our daughter alone until she grows out of her colic, and he won't be so frustrated or angry at her when she cries. I hope he doesn't want anything to do with the daughter if he complains about it so much. I don't want that man alone with the baby, even if it's not going through colic. Like, colic isn't the only hard part about having kids. I'm terrified to leave her alone with him, but I don't know if I'll have to let him see her once we leave. I'm going to continue stashing away our important items until he gets home, and I'm honestly hoping he just goes out to drink and stays away so I can have one one night of peace, besides waking up every 2 to 3 hours for my daughter. I can't wait to take a shower as long as I want and eat a hot meal that isn't from a can. I'm hoping the shelter will be able to give me clothes that actually fit. I can't wait for when I don't have to wake up with anxiety in my stomach or worrying about spending money when I get a job and have my own income, or getting yelled at for buying necessities that I need and my daughter needs. Edit, some of you really need to learn how to be empathetic. No, I will not send you nudes to make money. No, you weirdos, I will not send you feet pics or pics of my daughter. Y'all, the internet really is an awful place sometimes. Holy shit. I have people in my inbox asking if I will make a GoFundMe, and right now I don't know. Too afraid of my daughter's father finding out. I do have my own bank account that he's never had access to. I have people in my inbox telling me to get a job. I'm hoping the shelter can help with that and get me a job fast. Or just being downright mean and rude and saying really awful things. Yes, I know it was dumb of me to get pregnant at 21 and have a baby with a guy I'm not married to, but I am going to leave him and give my daughter a better life than the one I had. She deserves that, and I don't deserve to be treated the way her father has treated me for her short life. I had no doubt that she knew that it was dumb for her, especially now in the situation that she's in. It's like, okay, what does she do now? I think it is important to like at least acknowledge like, hey, getting to this point, there were probably a lot of mistakes made, but like we're at this point. Let's acknowledge it, but how do we go forward from here? Update 2. Hi all, I know a lot of you wanted an update. We are in the shelter now. We left the apartment at 8 a.m. this morning, about an hour after my daughter's father left for work. It has been a long morning for me. I had to meet with a worker from the shelter, show that I had my location turned off on my phone. She had to go through mine and my daughter's things that I brought to make sure there were no tracking devices. There's rules I have to follow, like curfew, can't have packages delivered or have the address shared publicly due to safety reasons. I can't let anyone know where I am, or else that's a violation and we will have to leave for safety reasons. They gave me and my daughter a room and a spare pack and play for her to be in, and gave us a spare set of sheets and a blanket for me. The shelter will provide things like toilet paper, pads, tampons, but if I want special stuff like my own body wash or shampoo or laundry detergent, I have to get that on my own and make sure it is in my room and not in common areas. I can't eat in the room we were given, and all food and snacks have to be communal, but I can keep things like my baby's formula in the room. When we got to the shelter, they had me fill out the application for WIC, SNAP, and TANF Medicaid for both myself and my daughter. I also filled out an application to get a low-income apartment, but the shelter worker said that could take years before I'm approved. I also have to create my own resume and start finding a job as soon as possible. I had to provide my daughter's father's name and information to apply for these benefits, so I don't know if I'll have to give him custody or visitation to receive any government help. The shelter worker said I was better off talking to a lawyer, and she's going to give me a list of ones who work with the shelter in family law. I also need to get my daughter to see a new pediatrician because she was so angry and cranky and miserable all weekend. I've never felt so stressed and scared and sick to my stomach, like I was waiting for him to just explode and make things even worse. It ended up with her father screaming at me and throwing and breaking things like plates and one of my candles. The next big thing is getting a protective order and seeing if that will help me with keeping custody of my daughter. I really don't want to share custody of her with him unless I absolutely have to. I'm just so tired and anxious. My stomach is in knots. I have to try and get a police escort to get my clothes and what few sentimental items I have because the shelter doesn't have clothes in my size right now. I'm scared my daughter's father has ruined more of my things. I'm scared he's ruined her things too. I feel like there is a ball in the pit of my stomach and I feel like throwing up. I haven't been able to sleep or really think beyond getting away from my daughter's father. I have not contacted my mother because I can't trust her not to tell my daughter's father where we are at. I feel like I'm starving and I can't wait to have a hot meal. I'll probably have to change my phone number to make sure my daughter's father can't contact me. I have a bank account he has no access to, and I'm hoping I can find a job soon so I can get a car so we won't be relying on the shelter to get us to places we need to be. The shelter worker said it can take up to a month before I receive any assistance, and that has me nervous and scared too. I'm really hoping I hear something back soon for assistance and can hopefully get into a low-income apartment so we aren't in the shelter for a long time. I'm still scared of what's to come for our future just because I don't know what to expect next. I just want to never hear from her father again and move on and be done with him. And then this edit at the top, people are asking me to make a GoFundMe. The shelter worker did not recommend a GoFundMe anyway due to privacy reasons. I made a Venmo with the same username as my Reddit username to keep some privacy. Thank you to everyone who has offered help so far and more resources to help me rebuild my life after leaving. The shelter worker was the one who said I may have to change my number if my daughter's father starts harassing me through text messages. But she didn't say say I absolutely had to do it. I'm terrified for when he does get off work and goes back to the apartment. I'm just ready for things to get better. I still feel like I'm going to barf. Now it's just waiting and doing my best to make it day by day. A month seems like a crazy long time for benefits and stuff to kick in. Maybe that's just me wanting the system to be better than it is. In this day and age, a month just seems crazy to me. Like, the government runs so inefficiently and it drives me fucking nuts. Why is Trump so worried about fucking banning transgender women competing in women's sports, but he's not worried about like, oh, hey, this person's life is in danger? And if you started implementing things to make it more efficient so people could get these benefits faster and be out of these situations faster, that seems like a way bigger priority to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I have something called empathy. It's so insane, dude.